there, you're back here at my channel with Homesteading with Blue Sky Ranch. Today I'm going to show you how to turn these eggshells into this calcium powder. And I showed you on a previous video that I just released about using this for fertilizer. So let's get it done. So there are so many benefits from eggshells, so we do not want to throw these away. And it's also just basically a waste to throw them into your compost because they do not disintegrate very well. They're great to keep out slugs and snails in that state of just kind of brokenness, but if you want to get the full benefit from the calcium in an eggshell, we need to go ahead and process them so we can grind them down. So join me, I'm going to show you what the steps are to turn these into calcium powder. So the first thing you're going to want to do is save your eggshells. So I've been collecting eggshells for about 2 months. So the one thing that I have to do, because these are not store-bought eggshells, these are from my chickens, is before you store them, I always want to make sure my eggshells are clean. So I wash them before I crack them really good, and then I'm storing them in the Ziploc bag after we use them, and I've been keeping these in the freezer. So every time we make scrambled eggs or I'm baking, just make sure you wash the egg, then crack it and throw them in your bag until you have enough to throw in the oven. So once you've collected enough eggshells, again, this is probably 2 months worth of eggshells, we're gonna go ahead and turn the oven on. I've got the oven set at 250 degrees, and we're gonna put these in a cookie sheet. All right, I've got 2 cookie sheets here. We're gonna go ahead, and these are frozen. We'll try to break them apart. You might have to let these sit out for a little bit and thaw, or they'll thaw a little bit in the oven and come apart. We want these to get all the way dry before we grind them. So unfortunately, that's one of the things you can see I did here is when I make scrambled eggs or cook with them, I stack them. Probably better to not do it that way now that I'm seeing this. And I've had a helper. My husband's been also throwing them in the bag. And you don't know what you don't know. That's our thing. So we're going to break these apart the best we can here. So the trick here is that we want, like, the stuff that's in here, we want this all to get nice and dry before we grind it. Can't have any moisture. All right, that one's looking pretty good. All right, we have it pretty well covered. Like I said, that was a lot of eggshells that we've saved. And we're gonna go ahead and throw these in the oven at 250, and we're gonna check them after half an hour. All right, into the oven they go. Again, 250. That go for about a half an hour and give them a check. So once we go through this whole process of baking the eggshells, and then we're going to grind them, and then we're going to have it so we can use them just as fertilizer on our plants. You can use these on your tomatoes. We'll love them. You'll want to give them like a teaspoon each, maybe once a month if you have them in pots, and this helps with blossom end rot. What we want to encourage is deeper roots and not to have the blossom end rot. Another thing that loves the calcium is your broccolis, the cruciferous vegetables in your garden. You can also sprinkle those around them, and the eggshells will keep slugs, snails from eating them. They don't like it. You can also use it in your house plants. They also love the calcium, a little benefit of calcium. You can use them in pretty much anything in your garden. You know, I used to put all my eggshells in my compost, but what happens is when we rototill that in, it just breaks it up a little bit, and those eggshells can be there for years. And so the benefit of the eggshell is not getting all the way down into the roots. All right, here we are an hour later. It took these at 250 to get to the point where they're completely dry. So what you want is for this membrane, although it looks wet, it is completely dry now. And this is what we're going to go ahead and we're going to grind it up. So cook them as long as you need to. Like I said, this took an hour. I had thought it'd only take a half an hour, but I had so many eggshells it took 1 hour. So here I have my 2 trays now of the eggshells. They're all ready to grind. Now I'm going to show you 3 different ways you can grind them. First of all, I highly recommend, if you have one of these, is a coffee grinder. But if you don't have one of these, you can use a mortar and pestle. This would take you a lot longer, but would work. See, a little bit of that, and you definitely could grind them to where you can use these for fertilizer. Beautiful. All right, if you don't have a mortar and pestle or you don't have a coffee grinder, you can try this method where you put them in a plastic bag, a Ziploc, just like this. And what you're going to do is use a rolling pin. Of course, a hard surface would be better, but you can tell we do that a couple times, you're going to make powder. Okay, so next I'm going to show you how to use the grinder. This by far is the best way to do it. It all takes some time, but remember, this is free fertilizer. You're not having to go to the store and buy it. I'm going to show you this, but it does make just a ton of noise. So I will show you how efficiently it works one time here. Okay, let's take a look. There you go. That's beautiful. This is perfect powder. So when I do this, I've made a dedicated mason jar here. And I'm just going to pour them in there. And I'm going to do that until it's full. Remember, free fertilizer. And this is so much better to use than if you were just to throw it in your compost. You're getting so many more nutrients out of this. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was there's a difference in keeping them with this membrane in them. The membrane has the collagen and protein in it. So you are now giving that back to your plants. There's a lot on information out there that talks about boiling them first. Now, if you were to boil them, what would happen is this membrane would become detached and you wouldn't have it there anymore. And I think that you want this in your fertilizer. I don't think you want to boil that off. So anyway, we're going to just keep doing this until we get it done. All right, so I went ahead and I finished grinding all those eggshells, and my mason jar, it's a pint jar, it is full to the very top. I can't fit any more in here. This is great for all of your plants. Don't throw your eggshells away. Don't throw them in the compost because they really don't disintegrate very well. This is a much better method. We're giving our plants calcium, actually, and from the membrane, there's collagen and there's protein. So all great for your tomatoes, your cruciferous vegetables, and I'm just going to use it on everything except for probably, I think blueberries don't like it because they like the acidity. So there's some plants that like acidity, and you would not want to give this to because this is for low acid plants. They would like this calcium.
Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you like, share, and subscribe. More to come in 2023. And again, thanks for joining Homesteading with Blue Sky Ranch. See you next time.